Hey guys, what's going on? So today I want to talk to you about the bench press and why you should hold off on doing that exercise. Now first and foremost I want to say the bench press itself is not a bad movement. The problem with the bench press is that with most people's conditions and how their bodies are in today's society, it is a bad movement for you to start doing when you start exercising. Now if you're a new gym goer, right, or if you're a person that started benching or doing whatever you're doing in high school, you commonly will see people will have this internally rotated posture, right, where their palms are facing down towards their leg line. They're not to their sides with their shoulders tucked back, as opposed to that good posture. They're in this rolled and hunched over posture, which already emphasizes the fact that your pec and your front deltoid are tight and rotating you in. So if you were to think about it this way, if you were to flex your chest as hard as you can, you're gonna end up rotating inward, right? So now you've got this issue where you're rotating inward, your scapulas are winged out, they're spread apart, and by this point in time, you don't have good shoulder stability, right? So without any proper shoulder stability, you're gonna go with this bar and you're gonna hold it up there like this at the top, come down, and then press up. And what's happening is your shoulders are going to be carrying the major load of this movement, as opposed to you loading it up like so, pulling it back through the blades and just driving up. And if you were to watch like my chest workout from the other day, my explosive bench, you'll see that I anchor down and then explode up through the pec. I don't lead through my shoulder. But what happens is most people, they tend to have an overabundant internal rotation and they look like this, right? And with that internal rotation, like I said, your shoulder is tilted forward and your scapula is winged out like this, as opposed to being set back in a normal capacity. So with that being said, you're more prone to getting a lot of shoulder injuries. So what I would recommend is this, guys. I'm not gonna say don't do the bench, but I'm gonna say if you're starting fitness, or if you've already noticed that your shoulders hurt after a certain weight or a certain set of doing bench press or dumbbell bench, I want to really emphasize on the fact of doing scapular retraction exercises, which would be like a rear delt fly, making sure when you do it, you're pulling, and from here, you pinch the blades together. Not just a fly outward like this, where your arms are carrying the motion, but an actual pinch of the blades. That way, when you're doing it, you're actually loading these things that should be working, because your shoulder blades in your chest, right, they should be emphasizing on one another. So when you're doing your motion, you're contracting the front and eccentrically contracting the back side. And then when you're contracting the back side, you're eccentrically contracting the front side. So they're opposing forces, right? You have a front and a back. They work together to produce this kind of motion right here. But if you're only familiar with this kind of motion, that's all you're gonna get, and you're gonna overload these things and blow them out. So start with doing scapular retraction exercises. Start to try to feel your lats a little bit more, because that will help with stability, and that'll help you pull the bar down towards you if you're doing a bench press. Because most people, when they do a bench press, they press it up and then they come down, and then press it up and then they just let it fall down. And they lose their tension relationship right there. They lose their tension on the way down, as opposed for me, when I'm doing it, I grip hard on the bar and I pull it in with my lats and my blades, and then I wrench it up through my pecs, as opposed to through my shoulders or whatnot. And the shoulders will help in stability. They shouldn't be helping as the prime mover of the exercise, because as you know, if you're an emphasis, or if not an emphasis, but if you're an enthusiast of bench press, it's probably because somebody told you you're gonna get a huge chest like this. Or if you're a female and you're doing bench press, you might be like a powerlifter, or you might just be doing it for general health reasons, which could be very well true. And the bench press is a good staple movement, but I wouldn't do it for somebody that is internally rotated, has a lot of chest and shoulder tension from the front end, and somebody that doesn't know how to load their back, their scapula. So that's really what I gotta say. It's not necessarily like bench is a bad movement. It's more so if you're starting off and you don't have the principles of how to use your back and your shoulder blades to secure yourself, you're gonna get hurt doing the motion. And if you're one of those people that started off in high school and your coach just told you to just throw the weight up no matter what, you're probably experiencing some tension in either your shoulders or in your traps. So if that sounds like you, honestly guys, look out for in the future. I'm going to be posting a mobility routine for that. I'm also going to be posting a tutorial on like how to bench, how to squat, how to deadlift. I already put like the why deadlifts hurt your lower back one. That's a pretty clear, concise video for any of you that like to deadlift or would like to deadlift. But I'm going to be putting together a very strict, organized, and step-by-step process on a video of how to do your deadlift, how to do your bench, how to do your squat, while minimizing injury and maximizing the output and the gain from the exercise. But that's all, guys. Have a nice day, and as always, take it easy.